00 Quanta. Hey again, Robert 184, 2Rs, 2Bs, gundam.tk, continuing my look at the Master Grade 00 Quanta, and it's time to put that together. The completed Master Grade 00 Quanta as it spins around here. And besides its asymmetry, of course, the left and right arms are going to be different along with the shoulder armors. And though it doesn't have the GN drive in there, this, to me, is an impressive looking Gundam, and certainly the culmination of the evolution of the Exia 00 line. Here you can see some of the details down below, including the double condensers in the legs there. But it's the upper body where this thing really shines. Unencumbered in terms of weapons, you're going to be able to bring the legs all the way forward. If you bring the arm up and the side skirts, these pop off, as you may have seen earlier, as does this white part, so you're going to have to be careful with that. But otherwise, the legs are going to come out all the way to about here, but of course this is already popped. Now the legs will bend here over 180 degrees, and the ankles are going to go this way, and then they will bend forward as well as back because of the split in the armor there, and the toes can go right down. For the upper body, it rotates pretty well around here, could go all the way around I suppose, and it's going to bend forward and back, and of course this is on the ball joint, so it's got a double bend in effect, and you are able to rotate the chest this far off to either side. The arm without the shield is going to go all the way around, and as you look up above here, this is going to pop right out, allowing the arm to reach all the way across and touch his other shoulder if you put the shoulder out. And again, the arm is going to bend by itself like this, and because it has sort of this double bend here, you're able to bend the arm even more, and the wrist is going to complete the almost 180 degrees. You'll see that the condenser is turning there, and the wrists move as such. The head looked a little bit too tall when it was on just the chest, no complaints about that now. It's able to spin here, and it's on a bend mechanism here, which allows it to come forward, but if you move it too far, it's going to pop. Quick note here, so far with the legs, the way that they're moving is everything seems to want to stay in place very nicely. You don't have any of the difficulty of a Strike Freedom or Destiny of getting the legs into the right position, and when they do, unlike Master Grade Exia with its horrible ankles, it seems to want to stay up, and I was a little bit worried here about how much mobility there is in the waist, but so far it seems very solid. To put the drive in, you drop down this gray part and then line up these parts here in the top and slide that in. You can expect to go fishing a few times to dig out the rest of the GN drives here. It locks into place with a satisfying click before you slide this and attach it over top. When I first saw that this backpack can only be attached with the drive in place, it sort of makes me wonder about the purpose of the stand, but I worried about stability, but so far it seems to be on there fairly well. When you put the shield on, you may notice that he starts immediately leaning to his left. From a distance it becomes even more apparent. The sword doesn't have anywhere near enough weight to offset this problem. Fully weaponized, you have certainly one of the most unique asymmetrical Gundams. I mean, most of the Gundams out there have a shield or some sort, of course with the blaster in the other hand, but in this case it's just the sheer size and the bulk of the shield, especially as you bring it forward. And with that huge, fantastic hinge mechanism on the back, you can pretty much put it wherever you want. This guy really looks completely protected. For height comparison, you can see that the top of the head of the 00 Quanta lines up pretty well with the head of the Master Grade Exia there on the left. And of course, usually when Gundam kits get to Master Grade COD, they end up pretty much getting stretched, and the best example of that, of course, is if you took the old 1/100th Seed Destiny kits like Infinite Justice or Force Impulse, and stood them beside their Master Grade, you'd understand that. So the fact that they're a little bit taller than the 00 Gundam doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be that much taller than its Master Grade counterpart. But how about the evolution of Setsuna's mobile suits? The leap from Exia to 00 really looks like it took the gap in between the two seasons. But over here, the 00 and the 00 Quanta end up having less similarities than I expected. Of course, the frame is very similar, but the coloring, etc., and just the way they look in terms of time, the 00 Gundam seems a little bit out of place, and the Exia certainly does look like the oldest of the bunch. But here, certainly you can tell which of these two are master grade, just from the amount of effort and detail that have been put into them. Here's the master grade next to its high grade counterpart, and the first thing that strikes me is just how many different color applications they designed when you put the plastic onto the high grade one, because it pretty much has all of the major paint applications. Where you're going to have the differences on the gray here, you can see a little bit more of the gray inner frame where you attach everything together. The hips show through on both, as do the elbows, of course. Pretty much the only places where you see a little bit more gray is on the shoulders of the high grade, but it's the otherwise the level in detail and just the little bit more lining that's added onto the master grade that really makes this look like the next grade. Lots more to talk about here with a master grade lead compared to a high grade, so stay tuned for the next part as I continue my look at the mobile suit of the master grade 00 Quanta. Robert184, thanks as always for watching, everybody. Cool. I made the cover.